reflect on this ayah today. He mentioned سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ. The translation is that soon we shall show them our signs in the horizon, on the skies, فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ, and within themselves. Soon we're going to show them ayatina, our signs, until it's clear to them that this is the truth. Meaning this message, this Quran, this prophet, this religion is the truth. And that we will establish our way with the people, our hujjah. Also the Prophet of God sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned to us in a very well-known hadith. And by mentioning it, I want to remind you of the statement of the Prophet when he mentioned إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَّا نَوَى. That actions are based upon intention. And every man or every woman shall have what he or she intended. So I want to discuss, for an example, the meaning of the hadith where the Prophet is mentioning that all actions are based on intention. There's an action where somebody's cut open with a knife. This is what we see. And then there's an intention behind it. One is, because of that intention, it results in a homicide, a murder. And another intention, same act, cutting open someone, it results in saving a person's life. A surgery to save to save a person from tumor or disease or cancer. And these are two separate things, but the intention, same actions, but the intention is different. So our beloved Prophet ﷺ has taught us that intention matters. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now today what I want to discuss in the cultural context of where we are today. Just yesterday, there was April 22nd, what is called the Earth Day. People celebrated the 40th year. Every year there's a celebration of saving the planet, a drive against pollution, a topic of all these hot topics that you keep hearing about in the media, such as global warming, greenhouse effect, the extinction that's happening with the planet's animals and species. So all these topics that keep coming up. The green drive to feed people, to also be earth conscious and talk about, and all these things I wanted to reflect on today. There's a priority list of people and the community based on how people see their community and how communities see themselves within the larger context of society. They would reflect that. If you look at the Muslim priority list, right? So our community is based in the mosque in America. Most of the time, what's occupied on the list of priorities is first and foremost how we're going to run the place, the donation boxes and the fundraising dinners. Right? That's what you hear about. And all the hadith of the Prophet, it seems like sometimes people think, some people are sarcastic perhaps about it, is that all of Islam, it seems like all the statements and ayat in the Quran and hadith are referring to donating your money. Now, that could be one response. And then the second is that, finding khatibs and Yawmul Jumu'ah coming to Friday prayer. And then the third and last for most of the communities is the Sunday school or the Saturday school. And those are the three things that Muslims have become very adapted to. And it's sort of like Islam has been reduced to this context. And interestingly, if you look into the Muslim context, now I'm going back to the Muslim world. And many of you have come from the Muslim world. And when you look at the Muslim world, the religiosity and the context of religion became solely for the mosques and those people who come into the mosque. And Islam became irrelevant to those people outside the masjid. Why? Because those people inside the masjid were talking about things that did not relate with their own community in the time that they were living. So one of the experts, you could say, of his time, one of the sha'ir, poet, and the philosopher, Iqbal, he calls it in Urdu, he describes the sentiments of his feelings. Ajab hai vaiz ki deendari yaran, adawat hai use sare jahan se. He says in Urdu that it's strange religiosity of people of religion. It's strange religiosity that they disfavor, dislike everything about the world. You can't talk to them about any topic that relates to people and humanity at large. So when it comes to domestic violence, when it comes to Thanksgiving, when it comes to the problems of city schools, when it comes to teenage pregnancies, and when it comes to rape and murder, within the few miles that were within our communities here, there is no context within the mosque. And we as Muslims have to, and this is what happened. When you look at the Muslims when they were at the apex, when they were at the climax of their civilization, which was produced based on the drive that was generated by the concept of Iqra, Bismi Rabbik, that read in the name of your Lord. Everybody does reading, but the Muslim civilization that produced Muslim scholars, they were based on Bismi Rabbik. You see, later on they had the Renaissance in Europe. But that statement itself, they were reading not because they were reading to find God, but because they were reading to get rid of God from their society. But the Muslim society is different. Religion, Islam is not a matter of just worshipping in the masjid, performing sajda. Islam is much bigger than that. The 5 pillars of Islam, if anybody has that confused, the shahada, salah, siyam, hajj, saum, right? All these pillars are your starting individual formation, basis of your deen. That's not an end. That's not a conclusion. That's not the highest that you could achieve. That's the starting point. And if you look, and the proof of it is in the Hadith Jibreel, wherein the Prophet ﷺ is asked about the essentials of the deen, and he starts with 5 pillars, the meaning of Islam. And then he talks about what you should believe in, the faith, belief in Allah, the angels, the books, the prophets, the qadr. And then he goes on to say, what is ihsan? To make something excellent. And he answers that it is to worship Allah as though you see Him, and if you can't, then know for sure that He sees you. And this is the idea of being a Muslim, 24/7. That everything that we think about and everything that we're going to engage in, whether it's at work, whether it's with our neighbors and with our communities, whether it's at the masjid, whether it's with our relationship with the Book of Allah, whether it's our salah, this concept of ihsan has to be there. And then if you get the population, get the people to understand their relationship as a creation of God, not as people who consume, right? Not simply people who populate things and buy into culture. Because what happened is Earth Day came yesterday, and then everybody's going on a buying frenzy. What could we buy with the dollar? And now if you look into it, with those same products that we have, the consumption level, they call it Great Pacific, in the Pacific Ocean, this patch of garbage, right? That's based on all the garbage that we have dumped outside into our ocean. And it's just a swimming pool, or it's just a soup of all the plastic floatables that are out there. Why? Because the understanding is as such that I could do whatever I want to. But in Islam, we relate back to how Allah sees us. This concept of ihsan permeates through everything that we do. So it's not just all about how we sit in the masjid and how we talk to one another and how we deal with our society and Muslims only, but also with those people who are not of the people of faith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not call these people who are non-Muslims as kuffar all the time in the Quran. If you look into it, you hear the statement, Ya ayyuhan nas,